Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Some championship racing here from the central New York area here at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. It plays host tonight to the championship race for the All-Pro Sim Racing League. It's the 87 Shootout Series tonight, presented by Decals by Dylan. We come in with a championship race on the line, and to bring you all that racing action here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network, it is Muth up here in the booth, and alongside me, as he has been all season long, Al Smith. Al, this is a home track for you, but it's a championship night for a handful of these drivers.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we love going out to the Glen out there in the western part of the state. Right now, it's good to see some fans in the stands as, well, in the real world, that is not the case. But tonight, we're going to crown a champion, and what a championship race that we have. 3 points separating your top two. Zach Coyer is in third, and he's only a handful of points in front of Michael Fravert and Kevin Dillon. So a lot of point implications going on, a lot of drama here on the twists and turns of the Watkins Glen International.
Yeah, as we see, you talked about that championship hunt right there on track. As ladies and gentlemen, we are here in qualifying already at the Glen. You see the driver of the 52 of Jeff Dillon. He comes in with just a 3-point lead over the driver of the Napa Shocks, number 33 of David Polans. Al, we talked about this just a couple weeks ago. Remember when the 52 of Jeff Dillon was going to pull a whole bunch of points on that driver of the 33, and out of turn number 4, he spun out running in, I believe it at the time was the third position. That could have been a lot of points. He could have came in 10 points to the good, but now he is only 3 points up over the driver of that 33.
Yeah, and he's just taking the green flag now. That was to get up the speed lap. So this is his first timed lap as he heads down in the turn number 1. But you can't think about that. If you're in the Dillon camp, the 52 camp here tonight at the Watkins Glen International, you cannot sit there and think what could have been. You know the cards that you've been dealt. You have to come in here. You have to execute in practice. David Polans was quickest. He was the fastest driver in practice session. Now we're in the qualifying, and then we have our main event to come up following qualifying. So right now it's important to hit your marks as he comes flying down. I'm going to call this the back shoot into the carousel here. And, Dillon right there on the white line. So we watch Polans come through as well. But these drivers are out there hustling it. But you cannot think about what happened earlier on in the season. You come into the night's race as your championship leader if you're the 52, or the challenger as the 33 of Polans is, and that's got to be what your mindset is. You got to go out there and you got to execute. There's a qualifying bonuses, 5 points if you set fast time in qualifying, and the top 5 only get points. So you get 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that could right now, depending on how qualifying goes, as Kevin Dillon will go to the top, David Polans second, and Jeff Dillon third right now with a 1:14.18 for the 52. Polans running a 1:14.05, so pretty close on the time speed. Kevin Dillon with a 14.01. So Roger, you can't think about it, but you know it's on their mind right now. Right, Polans is set to close in at least 1 point before the green flag even drops into tonight's race.
Yeah, 3 drivers have taken time. Kevin Dillon, David Polans, Jeff Dillon all have a timed lap in. But as Al's alluding to, as you see Jeff Dillon having some problems here in the carousel, you know, right now David Polans is 1 spot ahead of Jeff Dillon here in qualifying. So if they finish this qualifying round out the way that they are here on the track, with only 3 drivers taking that qualifying time, it'll only be 3 points for the third place driver you see on screen of Jeff Dillon, and it would be 4 points for David Polans as you see Jeff Dillon hit the inside or the outside wall here tonight, Al. It's going to get a little bit confusing. But so right now, Polans does have that advantage as Shrewsbury goes up, and he's actually going to bump Dillon down a spot. So now that's 2 points for Polans over Dillon. That just means if we'd go green right now, that's only a 1-point race championship lead for Jeff Dillon.
Yeah, so and on top of that, if Polans jumps out and gets a lap led, it's going to be even. They get a point for leading a lap. you get a point for 0x here tonight as well, and that means that without any incidents, no off tracks, which by the looks of practice is going to be a tall task to have, as these cars look like a handful to drive around this Watkins Glen International.
Well, now, Al, think about this as we still continue to watch our qualifying session here. Somke did get his lap time done in the number 1. It's going to be a one and done for James Somke, and it's going to be the 5th fastest. Al, I don't even know what I just drank here tonight before we came on. I was hanging out with Coyer beforehand, but I mean, like I was trying to say, if you're Jeff Dillon right now, you know you're only going to have a 1-point lead as long as nobody else can come up here and take another position from you. Do you try and go for that clean race bonus and let maybe Poland's finish a couple positions ahead of you? Because 5 points, if you're clean and he's not, that could be the determining factor here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely could be, and it's you got to take and just try to capitalize on any mistakes here. It's going to be hard to get a yellow flag if the yellow flags are on. We're not sure if the flagman brought that yellow silk with him tonight or not, but you have to capitalize. Stay on the track. Don't beat yourself. The beauty part that I like about road racing is you got to race the racetrack as much as you have to race your competitors around you.
Yeah, and I did just get word, Al, that I don't even know who the flagger is here tonight. That's usually your job to go down and talk to him. But there is no yellow flag tonight. We will go green to checkered all in one swift swing of that flag.
So, yeah, that's going to even add a little bit more pressure to these drivers that are in the championship hunt. As, well, you get off track or something like that, you're not going to make that track position back up unless there's a miracle. And let's be honest here, that's going to be tough sledding to get back to the front if you have an issue. So it's going to be, you got to hit your marks, you got to do everything right and kind of go from there. But right now we got the number 26 decals by Dylan Ford showing away with a 1:14 with a 0:13. So close time so far in qualifying. It looks like one driver coming up to speed right now is the driver of that 31 of Zach Coyer. He's coming through, I believe that is turn 6?
Turn 5, but Al, you want to know what the funniest part about watching Coyer is? He came down that back chute of yours, as he'll just completely blow turn 6 here.
Ooh.
But he actually thought there was a bus stop back there. He went to hit the brakes and throw that 31 Cold Beer's cameras machine into the bus stop, and then all of a sudden it must have clicked and went, oh, there's no bus stop tonight here.
Yeah, he's reset here on pit lane. He's going to have to get going out on the racetrack if he plans on getting a lap time in. So you got a few drivers. Preston Boers went out, they're not able to put a lap down in that number 29. Michael Fravert has got to the racetrack here. So we've got a few drivers that kind of got to the New York State a little bit late here tonight and is going to put on a show for us. But they are here ready to go. Looks like we're going to have about 12, 13 cars ready to do battle here tonight for 35 laps.
Well, as we wait for qualifying here to end, everybody is in a driver's meeting now here at the Watkins Glen International Speedway. We're going to step away for just a moment, and we'll be back here with live racing action for the All-Pro Sim Racing League. It's the 87 Shootout Series tonight, presented by Decals by Dylan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming,
Welcome back here, race fans, tonight at the Watkins Glen International Speedway. These drivers are taking to the grid for the first time here tonight. Al, 35 laps going to be coming our way here after we get every driver gridded up here tonight. It is 12 drivers for 35 laps, and it comes down to just 2 drivers in this championship hunt. I hope you're ready to go road course racing, because this is how your starting lineup tonight is going to look. Tonight's starting lineup is brought to us by Decals by Dylan. And starting on the front row, it is the Decals by Dylan, number 26 of Kevin Dillon. He had the quick time here tonight. To his outside, one of those Championship 2 drivers. It's the driver of the Napa Shocks, number 33 out of Carolina. This is David Polans. Starting in row number 3 out of North Carolina, driver of the number 22 Chevrolet, it is Jeff Shrewsbury. Starting in the 4th position, that is one of those drivers that were in the championship hunt. He is the championship leader by just 1 point as we take the green flag here tonight. And that is Jeff Dillon in the 52 machine. Starting back into the 5th position, it was last week a great race for him. It is the number 8 of Matt A. Starting into the 6th position, driver of the carbon fiber, number 1 out of the Atlantic States, it's going to be James Somke. Starting into the 7th position, driver of the 99 Hardee's machine, this is Michael Favret. Starting in the 8th position, driver of the number 29, this is Preston Bohr. It's been a couple weeks, I believe, since we've seen the driver of that 29, so great to see him out there on track. Driver of the number 82, it's going to be Jackie Palmer. Starting in the 10th position, rounding out the top 10, this is the Colbert Cameras machine, the number 31 of Zach Coyer. Starting 11th here tonight, it is not Tim Richmond, race fans. It's going to look like Tim Richmond in that number 53 Folgers machine, but that is Carl Burke. I don't know if Carl is going to make it to the grid here tonight. We'll keep a close eye. And it looks like one of the drivers that had a late entry here into tonight, it's going to be the number 12. This is Austin Carter. Al, that is your starting lineup here tonight, presented by Decals by Dylan.
Yeah, and we got the championship battleists, or however you want to call them, starting nose to tail here. Turn number 1 could be quite interesting. Could someone overdrive turn number 1? We've seen these cars in practice, Roger, be a little bit upset on the right-hand turns. And you got to turn right and left here as they go through the S's for the last time under pace as they work uphill into the turn number 3, and it'll be turn number 4 before that long, fast back straightaway before the carousel.
Yeah, this is one of those passing zones that probably won't really be too much of a passing zone after about lap 1 or 2. It's not somewhere you're going to see somebody really come up and challenge somebody. It's probably a nose to tail to be safe. Down this long back straightaway, though, this is where cars are going to be able to pass, and then going up here into the carousel, because there is no bus stop about halfway down this straightaway like a lot of you race fans probably are used to watching in NASCAR. There you see it right there in the bus stop. You see the cones. Zach Coyer made that mistake in qualifying. He wanted to make that right-hand turn until he saw the cones, and then he had to keep the car straight. So we will see right here, right about here, you might see some chances to outbrake somebody, but one of your best possibilities to make a pass is going to be right here out of the carousel down this. I mean, Al, you want to call that back straightaway a short shoot, but this is definitely the short shoot before the final 2 corners on this track.
Yeah, and getting off of turn numbers, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There'll be turn 8 here coming onto the home stretch. You got to get through that corner pretty good, keep your momentum up, because you got that long downhill straightaway into turn number 1. So it's going to be very important for these drivers to get through turns 7 and 8 correctly, or as easy as they can to stay in touch. But here we go. 35 laps ready to put the period at the end of the All-Pro Sims Sportsman 87 Series. Inaugural season for the 87 cars with the All-Pro Sim Series, and they're about to go green for the final time of 2020.
iRacing pace car is in, and we will go racing here. Looks like 10 drivers will take this green flag here tonight, and we are racing in wine country in New York. Here we go, thundering down into turn number 1 for the first time here tonight. Kevin Dillon going to take that inside dive. He gets a little piece of the curbing, upsets the Decals by Dillon Ford, but he will be able to come up through the gears here, and he will now head into the first turn. Oh, contact! David Polans with a hip check. He's going to go sideways. Shrewsbury is sideways. It is a pileup in the S's. It looks like 2, possibly 3 cars make it through here. Everybody else is in a junkyard in the S's.
Yeah, and that right there is tough sledding for the driver who came in just 1 point behind our championship leader, the 52 of Dylan. Now the 33 car, that car is bent up. It is catwalking all the way through the S's. There's some bent up pieces to the back side of that number 33. And like we said earlier, no yellow flags here tonight. So these drivers are going to have to deal with this, but that is going to be tough sledding as he would cut the points lead down to 1 before the green flag is dropped. And now he sits way behind the 52 of Jeff Dillon, who rides in the number 2 position behind the 26 of Kevin Dillon. So tough break for Poland, who had a very good shot at making this a good battle here. But it looks like there's been some toughness here with the 33 of Poland. And the Coyer's gone around in turn number 7.
So all sorts of issues. Let's just back this up as lap 1 will be led by Kevin Dillon in the 26. Somebody way off into the corner. That's the number 8 of Vade. But let's first take a look back at David Poland's. Let's go back and let's actually see if we can go over top here. There you're going to see the hip check from the 26. He got onto the curbing and then just slight contact. Shrewsbury into Vade, and then, it was Somke that came in there and hit the 33 Napa Shocks machine, which then sent him around. I mean, right now, I think there's 3 cars without any damage out there, and I believe one of them is in the first position, one of them is second, and I believe the other one is the 99, currently, of Michael Favorite, actually. Yeah, he started from pit road.
He started from pit road, so he is working around the speedway in our 10th position right now as we work lap number 2. Poland has gotten back up into the number 4 position, so he's only 2 spots behind Dylan. But what is that? Right now, your Dillons are going bad to start finish line. Now is right now Poland's hits turn number 7 into turn number 8. So he's got some ground to make up, and that car is bent up, Roger. I'm not quite sure how he's making it around the speedway. It looks like it looks like Palmer just went into the spin cycle, that time off turn number 7.
Yeah, and he had a good practice time, and he had started into the 9th position here tonight because a lot of these drivers not taking time. They just kind of started towards wherever the iRacing draw was going to be here tonight. But I'm just kind of peeking through here, and yes, the Napa Shocks number 33 of Poland's is running 4th, and I'm very impressed at him being able to wheel this 33 machine. Al, I believe, somebody's going to lose a motor.
Yeah, that was Somke. He got the inside Armco barrier and expired the engine in the number 1, so tough sledding there. Is now Poland's under fire right now by the 29 of Preston Boers. Boers going to take it to the right side of the car, and he'll make the move down into the carousel.
So side by side they go.
Trouble up front. Kevin Dillon and Jeff Dillon have both crashed. Possibly, it looks like Kevin Dillon come to a stop here on the backstretch.
Yeah, let's take this replay and watch, and Kevin Dillon comes to a complete stop on the back straightaway, and looks like he takes it to pit road, and then same thing with Jeff Dillon. So a little confused there myself, Al. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened. It looks like a lot of the drivers are coming to a stop. It looks like we only got 3 or 4 drivers out on pit road right now. See if we can get some word here and see what's going on with race control.
It looks like Palmer and Favre Coyer are still out there onto the raceway turning laps. It looks like a lot of the other drivers here tonight have come down onto pit road. So Jackie Palmer right now is being shown as our race leader with Michael Favre, Zach Coyer. Poland's back into his car, but he is on pit road right now as we continue to kind of race around this Watkins Glen International. So right now Jackie Palmer, who does not seem to be, well, it looks like he was 7th in the points right now tonight. He had a chance to pass Tyler Hughes, who is not here tonight, so that was going to leapfrog him into that 6th position into points, as long as he can keep this machine on the raceway the rest of the way here tonight. Still, we got 30 laps to go in this one.
30 laps to go here. It looks like now most of the drivers are coming down pit road, so not quite sure what's going on at the moment, but it looks like some drivers are down here on pit road, Roger, and they're out of the race cars.
So we'll wait to see. As I believe, Al, we're getting confirmation that looks like we're going to end the server here. It looks like we are not going to finish all 35 laps here tonight.
Possibly some lightning in the area here, and we'll have to do something. I'm not quite sure here, Roger, what's quite going on, but it looks like possibly the lightning in the area. The drivers are down on pit road. Is now Palmar has made his way to the pit road.
So race fans, hang tight with us here tonight. We'll be back here after a brief moment. Don't go anywhere. See the All-Pro Sim Racing League 87 Shootout Series here at Watkins Glen.
Jason Hamilton. I'm Director of Racing Operations and Event Management for NASCAR. I'm also the Series Director for the eNASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series on iRacing and the eNASCAR Ignite Series on iRacing. We're here at Myrtle Beach Speedway for a test session for Zach and Max, the two champions from the eNASCAR Peak Series and the eNASCAR Ignite Series. They're testing late models in partnership with Rev Racing. Opportunity for them to come out and showcase the skills that they built on iRacing in a full-size stock car for the first time.
Got in the car, got the wheel adjusted. Zach's in the car now. Get that set up for him, and be ready to roll here in a little bit.
The tips we got were basically just to try and keep it on the bottom as best as possible, and that's going to be the easiest way to keep the car in one piece and just not make any mistakes.
You're off the throttle for a long time. You're off the throttle longer than you actually think you need to be, but the corners are so long. If you try to pick the throttle up too fast, it's just going to either jerk the car loose or make it tight and it jerks. Any other questions?
Nope.
We'll try it, and if you have any trouble, need to talk about something, it's fine to stop. Always come off the racetrack like we did, a while ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that was crazy. I wanted to open it up a little bit more, but it was all about just keeping the car in one piece, being safe.
I have no complaints on that. So just now that you're out, you can relax and think about what you did, and then we'll apply to the next round. Okay. Yeah, you did very well. Yeah.
Thank you.
You make me nervous, but you didn't. You didn't make me nervous this time. Yeah. So that was good.
You good with the height now? All right.
What about your gears? You know where they're at? First, second, third, fourth? Okay.
What we're telling you now is what we've told him all along.
And you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You're doing perfect. We're just trying to help those little places to gain more. My name is Mark Green. I work for Rev Racing. I am the driver development coach for the team. They both got up to speed fairly good. The biggest thing, especially here at Myrtle Beach Speedway, it's the line that you run. This place it's old pavement, it's wore out, it doesn't have a lot of grip. So there's a different way of racing this racetrack line-wise and driving-wise. So we had to work on those aspects of it with them. But they took to it very well, and they learned most of it. They still don't have it obviously down pat. After 6 hours, nobody would. Both young men did very, very well. We were very happy with our test today. No mishaps, and I think everybody had fun, and we had a good day.
So both Max and Zach did a great job. It was very impressive to see how quickly they got up to speed today. They took the coaching very well. We implemented a similar format to what we do with the Driver Diversity Combine, where we bring a large group of drivers in and evaluate them. We gave them a couple of sessions in the morning to get up to speed. Both of them took those sessions, learned from the coaching that we had today with Rev Racing's Mark Green, and both of them built. And as we went on throughout the day, every time they went out, they got faster and faster, and we're actually turning some pretty competitive laps by the end of the day. I think it just reaffirms our belief that iRacing in the future can continue to be a grassroots form of racing where we're reaching a new audience, reaching a broader audience of talented drivers that may not have access to a traditional racetrack to begin their racing careers, but they can start them on iRacing and then from there propel themselves to the next levels and higher levels of racing. And just like drivers similar to William Byron, we'll continue to see drivers like that get their start on iRacing make their way up the NASCAR ranks and hopefully one day be racing in the Cup Series.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was always fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos or danger until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all will be kept in the pits. Not to mention that with members in over 130 countries already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series and work your way up to one of 7 world championships, offering over $500,000 in prize money. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Well, race fans, welcome back here tonight at Watkins Glen. You can see there are cars back onto the speedway. Al, it's going to be a complete reset, but it looks like it's going to be 9 drivers here to take the green flag in this one. Everybody was allowed to go pull out a backup car here at Watkins Glen on championship night, so we will go back racing. 35 laps going to be well, it's a complete reset. 35 laps to do the distance here.
Yeah, 35 laps to distance, and we got Matt Vade and Mark Favre going to lead the green flag to the charge. Here's the Porsche pace car, takes the hard right-hand turn. Green flag is out. We're back underway here at the Watkins Glen International.
So Matt Vade going to lead him into turn 1. Look at the Dillon split, the 44 of Mark Favre down into turn number 1. And it looks like a little bit of a lockup on the 26 there of Kevin Dillon. He'll swing it wide out of turn number 1, but everybody will go single file down here to come up through the S's for the first time here tonight, or second time tonight, I guess we can say now officially.
Then, well, no accidents this time. Everybody making it through their clean and green as they hit the long back straightaway. They work down here 2 and 3 wide, and it looks like drivers side by side. That's Palmore and the 33 of Poland.
Matt Vade, your leader, going to go for a spin in the carousel right ahead of the 52 of Jeff Dillon. He'll be able to gather it up, but that was a championship moment there in the carousel.
Yeah, Vade holding on to your number 3 spot. Now Jeff Dillon jumps out to your race lead, and right there behind them, you see coming down the straightaway, the 33 of Poland's kind of blocked in there. You got the 44 of Favre to the inside. To his outside will be the number 31 of Coyer. Now they'll get by as the 82 of Palmer are going to get out onto the grass, do some mowing. They come in to complete lap number 1.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be Jeff Dillon leading the first lap back to the green flag here tonight at Watkins Glen. So it's Jeff Dillon, Kevin Dillon, Matt Vade. Then it's going to be David Poland's now running into the 4th position. Al, I think this is a big think, if you didn't catch that. I still believe the points are going to be Kevin Dillon up 1 point over David Poland's here after the reset. I think they will revert back to the qualifying way it was, even though you do not see David Poland's ahead of Jeff Dillon right now. So if the points were to end right now, I believe it would be Jeff Dillon by 3.
Yeah, the 8 of Vade going to do some dirt tracking through the carousel. He'll lose some ground. Here comes Poland. He's closing in on the backside of that Texaco Haviland number 8 of Vade as they work down here, down the back chute into the short chute off of turn number 7.
So now the 8 will come under braking, but the Napa Shocks machine, look at that. He was three-wheeling there on that left-hand turn. Three-wheeling. They got the Napa Shocks hooked up on that machine because look at it eat down on the bottom. Matt Vade going to have some issues here. Poland's going to take a peek to the outside, banging the rev limiter down the front straight away for that number 8 machine. Now Poland's going to surge ahead to the outside. He's going to brake early, but look how sideways that is. Matt in the Haviland machine will brake even earlier. He will let David Poland's into the 3rd position, and now will Poland's be able to run back down Jeff Dillon, who has a 6.2 or 6.6 second gap currently over your race leader. Zach Coyer looks like he has gone around. He's going to do some cold beer donuts in turn number 1.
Yeah, Coyer getting back, pointed in the right direction here. The Bold Beer Cameras number 31 as he'll work up through the S's as Jeff Dillon still holds on to your race lead over Kevin Dillon. David Poland's up to your number 3 spot after starting shotgun on the field. Matt Vade is going to run 4th with Jack Palmer. Rounding out your top 5 is Fravert. Hard contact with the 44 and the 1. Asamke going to go around at the back end of this field here. So the number 44 Fravert having some rear end damage, and Samke has taken the long tow back to the garage area.
Yeah, let's watch this back as they come down the back straight away here. We will see the 44 of Favre. Oh, he tries to clear himself to the outside in that 44, and Samke was already there. Samke hard nose into the wall there, and I believe that's going to do it for the number 1 of James Samke. It looks like he had to take the tow back to pit road as the motor expired after he had slammed the outside wall.
Yeah, it looks like another driver that's down on pit road is the number 9, or Michael Fravert is down on pit road as well. Remember, he was in the points battle with the number 31 of Coyer, who rides in your number 6 position. So Coyer coming in kind of 3rd in the standings, had a chance that the numbers 99 of Fravert could get by him, but it looks like that will not come to fruition as the 99 sits down on pit road, fixing some damage on that Hardy's number 99. But up front, it is still Jeff Dillon with Kevin Dillon and Poland's about equal distance down in here in the turn number 7.
Right now, let's take a look here as they come back across the start-finish line. We will look to see who has the fastest time here on lap number 4. So that'll leave us with just 30 laps to go here in this one at Watkins Glen. Fastest out of the top drivers last time by, out of your top 3. Looks like currently it was actually your leader of Jeff Dillon. He was the fastest, as I believe the 44 of Mark Favret having a little bit of issues. He is back here in the carousel with that 44 machine. He is currently sitting in the 7th position.
Field starting to spread themselves out. 7 cars remain out onto the Watkins Glen International Classic route as you see them flash by here on the bus stop as we know it. But back in the day, that did not exist, so we will stay with that. Here is the Classic with the 87 Sportsman Series. Tonight's the finale for the All-Pro Sim Series 87 Sportsman, and Jeff Dillon out front of this one leading it. Had a 1-point lead over David Poland's headed into this main event.
And right now with Jeff Dillon holding the race lead here over David Poland's, that is now a 2-point gap. Currently, that's not counting the bonus points at the end of this race. If there were say, any X's accumulated through this race right now on lap number 6, everybody in your top 3, if my math is right, do not have any off-track incidents or contact points here tonight. Big swing out there for Kevin Dillon, but there's a lot of runoff room down into turn number 1. Remember, I want to say a couple years now, Al, but it's been a lot longer than that. I want to say maybe 1998. Remember when Jimmy Johnson launched it down there in turn 1? That kind of put NASCAR's attention to the safety, and they were able to go ahead and put the concrete asphalt patch out there instead of that kitty litter, because it did not stop Johnson's car as he went head-on hard into that wall way back then.
Yeah, that was a scary accident, and it was good to see Jimmy climb out of that car. And it's hard to believe that in the real world that it's his last time we'll probably see him behind the wheel of a stock car. And Well, he turned left and right here today down to the Daytona International Speedway, but right now, Kevin Dillon is in your number 2 spot. He's being chased by the Napa Shocks number 33, Polens, and Polens is driving that car for everything it is worth, and I believe they're going to have to at least make one stop for fuel and tires here during this run, so it'll be interesting to see when that'll happen.
Yeah, and I've been watching it. You know, we did say that Jeff Dillon was the fastest that last time by. Well, now this lap, David Polens was actually the fastest car on the speedway. It is now currently a little over 5.5 second gap. So Polens actually gained a second last time by on Jeff Dillon. We'll see if that clock continues to count down here tonight and if he's able to catch up. That car is looking a lot better, but there is actually damage, I believe, on the side of that 33 machine. As we saw when that camera shot panned by, I think there's some right side damage on the Napa Shocks. So that could be an X, and that might be why David Polens is just trying to drive the wheels off this 33 here on lap number 7. As it looks like Kevin Dillon once again had a little bit of an issue down there in the carousel. He'll lose more ground to Jeff and put him back almost into the clutches now of that 33 machine.
Yeah, Polens really starting to close in on the decals by Dillon number 26, and right now Polens has to drive like Dickens, I would have to say. Just try to get, you know that your championship rival is out front leading laps. You got to close in as he gets the barrier off of turn number 8 coming down the front stretch. So he got the left side of the car that time off of turn number 8 down as he rifles it down to turn number 1. That lead is now shrinking. It is 5.4, so he took another 0.2 off of the race lead as he tries to chase down the 26 of Dillon.
Yeah, and sad news here out. Looks like the 31 of Zach Coyer is off track. I think he has loaded it back up into the hauler, so he will be out of this event here tonight at Watkins Glen. Matt Vade, though, is still running fourth. He's having some handling issues also on that, and it looks like James Somke, well, he's coming out of pit road. He's coming back out onto this track.
Yeah, Somke able to get that car fixed, so he's be able to roll back out here up through the S's. Is the number 1 has seen better days, but he's not gonna knows that every position is worth a point. He's got to make it at least another lap to get by the number 31 of Coyer on the timing sheet. So let's see if he'll get that done. Is now Dillon and Polens is closing in 2.4 seconds separating those two as they work off turn number 8.
Yeah, and that move by Coyer not being able to finish this race possibly going to drop him a couple spots here in the championship. Let me take a quick gander at those numbers that are being thrown at us here. Coyer had a Coyer had a 5-point lead over Michael Favret, and right now Michael is actually off track in the 99 machine. Kevin Dillon, though, he was looks like 7 points back. He is out there running in that second position, so he might be able to pick up 2 positions here tonight in the final race of the season and insert himself into that 3rd spot. Tyler Hughes is not here, so Jackie Palmer might have a good chance if he can finish this one. He is running currently into that 5th position. He could possibly jump and leap into the top 5 before the end of the season. Somke was only 3 points behind Jackie Palmer, and now with Somke back out onto the racetrack, he's hoping that maybe something happens to that Jackie Palmer machine so he can get back up ahead of him in the point standings tonight.
Yeah, definitely could. And we're watching this battle as Palmer goes up through the S's right now. Polens has closed in on Dillon, down to a 1.5 seconds between those drivers, and Polens has been the quicker driver the last couple of laps as they work down here in turn number 1.
Yeah, go on board here with the driver of the Napa Shocks, number 33. Polens going to really sail her down off into turn number 1. Dips the tires across that rumble strip, and now he'll set himself up. You see sparks from that number 26, and man, he is really trying to drive this car here tonight to hang on to how this machine is handling. I've never been able to drive these cars around this speedway or raceway or, well, left, right, road course. Have you ever got the chance to hop behind the wheel of one of these cars here?
I haven't gotten behind the wheel of the 87 car here on the road circuits here. I do know that on the regular tracks, they are a handful, so I imagine they are just as much of a handful, if not more, here on the twists and turns of the Watkins Glen International. But they are definitely, it looks like to be a handful, pulling every which way but straight through the corners, as he now is underneath your second place driver of Kevin Dillon. Is right now, they come off turn number 8 down the front stretch. That gap is 0.8 seconds and closing. So Poland's is quicker than the 26 of Kevin Dillon. But Jeff Dillon just coming off the exit of turn number 1 right now. He has opened up at least a 25 car gap as Kevin Dillon goes wide. So that's going to allow the 33 of Poland sideways, and he'll nose it into the inside wall off of turn number 1.
Well, that's not good for the driver of the number 33 with 25 laps to go. He was running down the second position of Kevin Dillon. You can now put it in the books that the 33 is not going to have a clean race because he has now accumulated a 2x here on lap number 11 of this race tonight. Now all that gap that he had kind of really shrunk. Remember, it was actually about 7 seconds that he had taken out of that race lead of Jeff Dillon is now going to be 17 seconds as we look. There is Jeff Dillon. He is down this short chute coming into the final 2 corners of the raceway here. Where is David Polans? Well, there he is. He's just coming around the carousel. He's not even out of it. Now he is out of it, and Jeff Dillon is coming through the final corner.
Yeah, Jeff Dillon out front is kind of being consistent. Already a 3-second slowdown on the speeds right now. But you got to race the track and not your competitors. We talked about that in the pre-race before the lightning came into the area, and we had to reset the 52 of Jeff Dillon out on the front of this one. Kind of just doing what he needs to do out there, hitting his marks, not over pushing the car. For last time by was at 117.3. That was the fastest lap, as we have one driver down on pit road. Looks like the 33 David Polans down on pit road, Roger. And this could be a little bit of a strategy call to come in, get your tires, put the fuel in to make it to the rest of the way, and make up some time on the fresher tires. We already see a 3-second fall off. So this might be a good strategy play here, as that's part of road racing, is they work around. The left side's already on, now the right side's going on the car, and he'll be down and away. And he'll have to make up some ground, but now you can just kind of, he's got what he's got to the end of this one, I believe.
Yeah, as we pull up on the screen here, your track map, you can see the green 52 dot on the map coming out of the final corner. That is Jeff Dillon. You see the 33, he's going up through the first set of S's there. So he is well over a half a track behind your race leader here of Jeff Dillon tonight on the speedway. We're keep up with where everybody is running. It looks like 6 drivers right now are out onto the speedway. Everybody else has had a little bit of issues tonight in the first couple segments of this one. It is Jeff Dillon, Kevin Dillon, David Polans, Jackie Palmer, Mark Favorite out there, and James Somke as your leader of Jeff Dillon is going to overstep it coming up through the S's. He puts the Dillon Motorsports 52 into that wall, so I don't believe maybe he now will have a clean race at the end of this one.
Yeah, Dillon's got a little bit of left front damage now as they come down here to the carousel. 23 laps remain here for the twists and turns as he works through the carousel. He'll work his way up towards turn number 7. You hear a shift, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on with these road races. You got to hit your marks. You got to get through the gears. Make sure you don't get in the gear right. Don't shift too early. Don't shift too late. You can hurt the engine that way. And then you also got to keep the car from underneath you. These drivers are going to be busy and worn out by the end of this 35-lap main event.
Oh, yeah, it's just not going to be the tires of the cars that are wore out, as it looks like. Here comes Jeff Dillon. He will actually come down pit road here with 22 laps to go. 2 laps after David Polans. Polans, remember, came in. Now Kevin Dillon takes over the race lead. Where is that 33? There's the Napa Shocks machine coming past that bus stop we're not using here tonight. He'll come through the carousel. He came in 2 laps prior already to pit road. And I can tell you, well, last time by, he was actually not quicker, so he's still now, this would be the second out lap for him, so we'll wait to see what the time difference is when he comes back around here. Jackie Palmer has not made a pit stop yet. He is still out there. He is running into that 4th position. Remember, he had some troubles on that initial start also, so this 34 machine is still out there on the original set of tires that he took a little bit of a spin around on. Here is your race leader, though. He is down into the carousel, and it looks like, he was a little bit sideways in the decals by Dylan, number 26. He will keep it under power. But Al, I'm taking a look through the timing and scoring and seeing who we have here in the new server. I'm missing one driver. I'm missing the 22. I believe that was Shrewsbury. He was out there in the initial server.
He was, yeah, and it doesn't look like he brought a backup car here, or maybe the lightning struck and he was unable to make it back out here for tonight's main event, so a tough break for the driver of that 22. He was quick in practice, too. I think he would have had something for these boys, but Lady Luck was not on his side here tonight.
That's unfortunate. As you see, the 26 of Kevin Dillon come across the start-finish line here tonight. Kevin Dillon not in the chance for a championship here tonight. He did have 2 wins throughout the season, though. It was a first back at the Rockingham Oval. That's where he picked up his first win. And then it was just a couple weeks later, I believe, at the North Wilkesboro Speedway was where he was able to pick up his 2nd win of the season. But it's kind of been an up-and-down season for the driver of the decals by Dillon Ford Thunderbird. It was a 14th place finish way back at the Daytona Oval, if you can remember, back all the way to June 21st when we brought the 87 Shootout series here. And then it was a first at Rockingham. Then it was a 13th disappointing finish at Richmond after leading 73 laps in that one. Atlanta, he was able to scuff out a 14th place finish after leading 20 laps. Charlotte at the Oval was a 9th place finish. That was actually for the All-Star race. First at North Wilkesboro, and then an 11th place disappointment finish at Bristol. And a 4th, though, he was able to claw his way back up into 4th at Martinsville. So it's been a roller coaster of a year for the driver of this number 26. Now he'll get 20 laps to go as he is our race leader.
Yeah, he's working down. Last time by, he ran a 1:18.28 second lap here as he works around the 44 of Fravert. Here in turn number 1, way up over the cushion. There's a lot of runoff there that allows those drivers to do that. And second place driver, that is Jeff Dillon. He is just coming off turn number 8 right now. So right now, a good sized lead, but we're going to be interested to see. This will be the first up to speed lap. And it was a 1:14, so 4-second difference right now between fresh tires and the older tires that Kevin Dillon has.
Yeah, and just take a peek there as we throw that map back up. You see Jeff Dillon going into the S's. You see the 33 down there just coming out of turn number 1. That is about an 8-second gap between those 2 drivers for the 2nd and 3rd position. Right now, there is a 33-second distance gap to Kevin Dillon. Kevin Dillon coming into the final 2 corners. He's coming right there into that left-hander before he makes the right-hand corner, before he comes back onto the front straightaway here tonight. Your race leader, though, of Kevin Dillon has not made a pit stop here tonight, and it looks like he's going to carry on out there. He's not coming in this time by because he is hammered down on the loud pedals. He comes out of the final corner. He'll come back across the start-finish line. Al, you can't make it on the fuel that was given to us here in, the initial drop of the green flag. So when do you think Kevin Dillon will actually bring the decals by Dillon, number 26, down pit road here tonight?
It's hard to say, Roger. You right now, just looking at the scoring sheet, it's been already almost 9 seconds made up on the gap. When Jeff Dillon came back out on the racetrack, the gap was 32 seconds. It has now climbed below 23 seconds is the gap. So if I'm Kevin, I'm paying attention to the relative and seeing how far back these guys are, but you also need to come down pit road and get your pit stop. He's going to lose some ground. I guarantee he'll definitely lose some track position. And it depends if he'll get behind Poland's or not. With Poland's able now 8.5 seconds back behind Jeff Dillon. So it's just going to be interesting to see what Kevin Dillon does. But with no yellow flags, you have to pit at some point. You can't go the whole distance. So it doesn't matter how much track position you want to give up. And it looks like he's going to come down pit road right now.
Yeah, James Somke had an off there as we saw that happen. Now your race leader, Kevin Dillon, will hit pit road for the first time. We'll see if he's going to be able to retain the race lead. It looks like Mark Favorite, he will also follow in suit with the number 44 machine here tonight at Watkins Glen. So now we officially have had every driver but one, and that is the 82 of Jackie Palmer, actually. I was going to say James Somke, but he is actually has been down there at one point here tonight. Jackie Palmer now is going to be the next one that we await to come to pit road.
Yeah, so right now the 33 flashes by into turn number 1, so that'll put at least the 26 of Kevin Dillon back to your number 3 position, as he'll lose about good 10-15 seconds behind these leaders as he comes off pit road right now. So just staying out there that long on the older tires has set him back quite a bit here with just 18 laps to go.
Yeah, 18 laps to go to crown a champion here this season. And there you see Jeff Dillon down there. Now here you see David Polans coming. We saw the distance. That distance is a little over 8 seconds, 8.2, as both of them go into the carousel here. We'll wait to see if that can update here on our timing and scoring, as Polans was a little bit out of shape in the Napa Shocks machine. You see him come out of that carousel and see, he can just see out the front of his windshield. There went the Jeff Dillon machine into the final 2 corners. Will he be able to make up the gap? The gap is going to open up a little bit as he hits that timing and scoring line. Jeff Dillon now has almost a 9-second gap after Polans took that little bit of a slide. Somebody that is back out on track and is not having a great night out, it is James Somke. He is down a couple laps here to the race leader right now. It is 4 laps running into the 6th position. He and that car have seen much, much better nights.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of off-road excursions here tonight, to say lately, but he's not one of those drivers that'll pack it in, and he'll keep putting the duct tape on there, 200-mile-an-hour tape, and he'll get around this Watkins Glen Speedway. And right now, it's just a matter of getting seat time, as these cars are new to the service. They've only been out for about 2-3 months now. And as he goes through the 7th turn and up into the grass, doing a little bit of mowing for the Watkins Glen International, he'll get back on track. So good to see James Somke out there. This fierce competitor, race with him in a couple different leagues on the service, and always great to have him out on the racetrack with us.
Jackie Palmer going to hit pit road here with just 17 laps to go. He'll bring down his gold and black unsponsored entry. Now he will make his pit stop here, and then that will be the final driver to make their pit stop tonight. That's on the lead lap anyway, as here comes Jeff Dillon. He'll actually put Jackie Palmer a lap down, so it'll just be 3 drivers now on the lead lap, and your distance between 1 and 2 is exactly the front straightaway here tonight. 16 laps to go.
Yeah, 16 laps to go. It is the 52 of Jeff Dillon, and about almost 9 seconds back is the 33 of David Polans, and then you got to go back another 10 seconds to find the decals by Dillon, number 26, as he goes to turn 1, as Palmer are going to come back out, emerge side by side, as it'll be a quick flash by the decals by Dillon. 26 Ford Thunderbird roars up through the S turns and into the back chute here. So about 16 laps, going to be 15 to go when they cross the stripe, this time off turn number 8.
Race fans, we got to thank you for all keeping with us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. After we had a little bit of a delayed start here, we gave you a little bit of a glimpse of what we were going to see here at Watkins Glen, and then we did a whole 360, 180, kickflip, 720, and we reshuffled the deck and came back live here to you at the Watkins Glen International Raceway here for the All-Pro Sim Racing League. It's the 87 Shootout Series presented by Decals by Dillon, and we are coming to get 15 laps to go here on championship night. Jeff Dillon will cross the line. It'll be 15 laps to go, and now David Polans, he's going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in it now. He is down pit road with just 15 laps to go.
15 laps to go. Maybe they cannot make it on one stop, and we saw how much ground he had made up by pitting early, so now he's down on pit road. We'll see what the number 33 of Polans is doing. He's down, just getting to his pit stall now as the crew jumps over the wall. Going to go over to the left side of the race car. Is going up to right side, the left side tires going on the Napa Shocks number 33, and the full tank of the Sunoco race fuel going in to that number 33. right side tires on there as well. And he is down and away with a very quick pit stop, 22.85. About second quickest stop we've seen on pit road here tonight. He is down on the way with pit stop number 2. He'll back out on the racetrack. So it'll be interesting to see if your race leader of Jeff Dillon will come down pit road now or if he'll stay out. And it looks like he'll stay out one more lap.
Yeah, at least one more lap here for the driver of the Dillon Motorsports entry. Now there is a 48-second gap between Kevin Dillon and David Polans. Now, Al, I'm doing the math, and 14 laps at 48 seconds, and yeah, I can't do that math. I just don't think it really works out.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to do it or not here as they work up through the S's. Poland is now just entering turn number 7, so about, I say, half a track, would you say, Roger, as they work around the speedway?
Well, let's throw the map up and exactly look. There we see the 33. You see he is in green. Your leader is the 52. He is in red over there on the right-hand side of the screen. He's coming through the carousel as Polans is now here onto the front straightaway. And yeah, that's a half a track, Al. That's a lot of ground to make up.
Caught me a little off guard. I was having my Salins hot dogs.
You're doing what?
I went down to the concession stand and I got you some hot dogs, but they didn't make it back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody's out there, I could use a couple hot dogs here since my colleague decided it would be a better idea to go ahead and eat them himself. You know, it's really hard to find good help out there, race fans. It really is, and that's why we got stuck with Al up here in the booth, and well, he just pops in, pops out when he wants, and eats when he wants too.
Well, it was your dime, so I'll take and go back down and get you some more.
Yeah, after you just took my wallet again.
Well, yeah, I think yeah. You said you were buying this trip.
Well, it's because it's right here smack dab in between where your office is and where my office is, and it's not how it works out. I flew the helicopter up to get you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll buy you a couple hot dogs, and maybe we'll stop somewhere on the way home.
Yeah, let me guess. We're taking the helicopter back to your place and then dropping you off, right?
Well, yeah, I brought the parachute, so you don't actually have to land this time.
Oh, good. I'll make sure I got my Bowie knife with me here as Dillon comes through the carousel once again. He'll slide it a little bit sideways with that Chevrolet, but it is right now a 16, almost 17-second lead over, well, the other Dillon, as he now comes through the carousel with his Ford Thunderbird with just 13 laps to go. It'll be 12 to go at the line for Jeff Dillon, who is one of the championship hopefuls. Right now, the gap between Jeff Dillon and David Polans, well, that is 40 seconds. Al, just in the last lap, that was a 6-second difference, actually. That's a lot of ground, but I'm still doing the math, and it's still not working out.
No, I don't think it's going to be enough, but it is going to be the fastest lap of the race. Last time by for David Polans, he ran a 1:14.13. That is the fastest lap turned in competition here tonight. They're at 12 laps to go as Polans starting to close in on the backside of Jackie Palmore off of turn number 7. Palmore's going to give way as Polans will go on by in that Napa Shocks. He's really hustling that car, putting on a show for the fans here at the Watkins Glen Internationals. They rifle down the front stretch here down to the turn number 1.
So he'll swing it down into turn number 1, hit the curbs, and he was up on 2 wheels that time going through there. He really slammed it. Al, the good thing about these 87 machines is you can really throw these cars around, and yes, they do take one whale of a beating. And, I mean, it really shows. I mean, just look at Jackie Palmer's machine.
Yeah, and the 33 of Poland's really pushing it through the S's. Just kissing the Armco barrier that time at the top of the S's. Just off the corner, we're able to keep the car going in the right direction. So he's really hustling that number 33, trying to make up as much ground as possible, as he is now 22 seconds behind Kevin Dillon and a full 38 seconds, almost 39 seconds behind our race leader, Jeff Dillon, who is just coming through the S's right now.
Well, we've seen a lot of different strategies played throughout this whole season here for the All-Pro Sim guys. And have you ever thought about making a two-stop race at Watkins Glen when you only needed one? Did you ever think that was going to happen here tonight?
Well, Who knows what the fuel numbers are? I lost those notes on the way down to get the hot dogs.
And once again, back to the hot dog. Is there anything else on your mind tonight, Al?
No, have you not been to the Watkins Glen Speedway and had one of their famous hot dogs? I mean, Martinsville is known for their hot dogs, but they have the salons up here at the Watkins Glen International, and they pack it with mac and cheese and some other stuff, and it's quite good.
Well, what is the other stuff, Al? What is the other stuff? I'm sure you ate it, so what is it?
I honestly, I haven't eaten it. One of my good buddies, Justin MacDuff, has down at the racetrack, and well, I have not tasted one of those delicious items. I'd rather have the Martinsville hot dog, honestly.
The red one.
Yeah, those are good ones. The Jesse, I forget what they call it. Jesse James, they call it.
Well, if it's not the Jesse James hot dog, I don't know what it is. But what I can tell you right now is there's your race leader of Jeff Dillon. He comes up through the S's here with just 10 to go. He has about a 15.5-second gap lead over Kevin Dillon currently, who is sitting there as now he's coming up through the S's. Where is David Pullins? Well, you got to go back another 21 seconds as he comes across the start-finish line now. He got the 10 to go marker, but that is still a very long way. 36-second gap separates Jeff Dillon all the way back to David Pullins, as Pullins actually goes off there in turn number 1. Able to keep the car pointed in the right direction, but he is using every inch of this road course here tonight and almost into the Armco barrier there again in the same spot for you, Al. The man's just a wheel horse.
Yeah, he's putting on a show for us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Hopefully you're enjoying the season finale of the All-Pro Sim Series 87 Sportsman Series. It's been a pleasure, Roger, being in the booth with you this season for these guys' inaugural season with the 87 cars. They put on a good show week in and week out, and they're doing so again here tonight.
I'm trying to think of the word that I wanted to use, Al, but all I can really think of is, yes, they put on amazing shows every week, and, well, you on the other hand, it's desirable to really have you here, but we enjoy having you here, Al. We need a punching bag every once in a while, because, well, these guys get to go out and hit the wall a couple times. I need to hit something, too, so thanks for being that punching bag.
Well, I've seen you drive, and I'm glad that you're in the booth, so...
Well, what about our other colleague that made I believe, a start here? I believe it was at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Chris Legou was able to turn some laps with these boys, and, well, I can't be any worse than that.
Well, I don't know.
Oh.
Possibly.
Oh, okay. I see how it is. All I gotta say, Al, is drop my jack.
Well, yes, I know. That's all happened there. Just Dylan's going to come off turn number 8 and cross the line. It'll be 8 laps to go here at the Watkins Glen International for that Dillon Motorsports number 52. Came in as your championship leader, had a 1-point lead at the start of this race, and that has grown now to at least a 2-point minus all of our bonus points, everything that gets factored in here to get for leading the most laps, leading a lap, and having 0 incident points, which I'm going to find it very hard to believe that if anybody on track hasn't had at least a tussle with the grass at least here tonight at the
talking about
Glen.
a tussle, James Somke just went for a little bit of a ride, and let's go back and watch that as, he is already off track there. Maybe we can see, nope, that's about where it's going to tell us. He just went straight off there in turn, I believe that's 7, and actually Kevin Dillon followed him out there into the grass, and he had a big moment for himself in the decals by Dillon. Thunderbird and Somke actually almost came back out onto the track and caught that number 26 machine, so good driving there to not come back out, I guess, and hit the 26 of Kevin Dillon. Because remember, there's only 3 drivers on your lead lap, and the gap between Jeff Dillon back to David Pullins is now shrunk to a cool breeze of 33-second gap here, as it'll be just 7 laps to go.
Yeah, the 33 of Poland starting to close in on that 26. I know it seems like a big gap, but it's down to 13 seconds behind the 26 of Kevin Dillon. And that gap is going to keep going smaller as they work down here on the front stretch. As you said, 7 laps to go for your race leader, who is going up the S's and into the back chute right now, is now the 33 of Poland's. Is going to try to get around the number 1 of Samke down here on the front stretch. She'll go from the outside to the inside, to the left side of the car, or at the right side of the car. They make the right-hander down in the turn number 1.
Yeah, so Poland's is still turning some of the fastest laps here of your race leaders. Kevin Dillon also still into the 1 minute 17 second bracket, but Jeff Dillon has backed her down. It's about a 1 minute 18.29 second lap last time by. Everybody else about into those 120, 126, 121, 124 second bracket here tonight. It is not easy to go fast, turn right, turn left. How the Australian V8 boys do it on a weekly basis, I don't know. Those guys put on one whale of a show just like these. I mean, it's comparable at this point. The V8 supercars of these 87 shootout machines, I mean, they both put on great shows, especially at road courses.
Yeah, the potent automobiles as both of those are. You think those V8 cars have a little bit more of a downforce, though?
Well, what gave that away, the big wing or the big splitter?
Well, I don't know. Either one. You pick your poison.
All I know is they sound amazing. Have you heard those things lately?
I haven't heard the new ones. No, I gotta catch back up with them. But I'm told that they sound pretty mean.
Oh, it is mean. I mean, these 87 cars with the old style V8s that they had back in the day, they were some crazy sounding machines, especially with the dual pipes that you see on this number 52 of Jeff Dillon. He'll come back around the carousel and he'll shift it, a little bit of a flame coming out the tailpipes on that machine. You know, just take a peek here at Jeff Dillon's stats of the season. He's been one of the most consistent drivers on the scene all year. His worst finish, Al, you wouldn't guess unless you knew this stat already, but it is a 8th place finish at Daytona. After that, it was a 2nd, it was a 1st, it was a 5th, it was a 3rd, it was a 1st, and it was a 5th. I mean, you can't buy stats like that.
No, you cannot. And it's been a very consistent season for that driver, and kind of staying out of trouble and you know, doing what he needs to do. So it's a well-deserved championship if he holds on here to these last 5 laps.
So now we looked at Jeff Dillon's stats. We can't forget the other driver that's in the championship here tonight. We got to take a look at David Poland's stats. And you talk about the 52 of Jeff Dillon and his stats. Take a look at these race fans. A 2nd at Daytona, a 5th at Rockingham, a 2nd at Richmond, a 4th at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, an 8th at North Wilkesboro, a 3rd at Bristol. The track that really did him in, and he even had 8 laps led, that was Martinsville. I mean, that paperclip is one of those tracks that it really does eat up a lot of drivers and spit them out. He had 7 top 10s, 5 top 5s, but tonight it's only a 3rd place machine as he is currently sitting, and that's not going to be good enough. He has led 111 laps to this point so far in the season, but it's just going to be a couple too short.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be a tough night there for him. Came in with the championship hopes, did what he needed to in qualifying before the lightning came, and we had to reset here at the Watkins Glen International, and kind of been behind the 8 ball since the drop of the green flag. Had to start out back of this one per his request, and well, just hasn't been able to make up the ground on that number 52. Is Dillon is just on cruise control right now. All the lap times pretty comparable. It's kind of leveled out to about 117.5 for your top 3 drivers. The only 3 cars on the lead lap currently as they work around the speedway. This time by when they get to the stripe, it'll be 3 laps to go as the 52 of Dillon will come off the carousel into turn number 7. The nice little left-hander to the short chute, and then they'll make a right-hander off turn number 8, and there'll be 3 laps to go. In just quick time here as they put on the speedway. Mark Fravert in the 44 car, a little off-road excursion that time in front of our race leader. So they work through the right-hander, and Dillon is going to come down the straightaway. We'll see 3 laps to go. Next time by, it'll be the Rabbit Ears.
Oh, I like that one, Al. We haven't heard that one in such a long time live on the air with the rabbit ears. You know, Matt Vade is still sitting down on pit road with his Ford Thunderbird number 8 Haviland machine. He is currently scored into that 7th position, but he has been down there on pit road for a very, very long time. David Poland's actually going to go off track here. He was trying to push so hard in the Napa machine. He has now taken the Napa Shocks machine off track. He's got back on, but he's going to lose all that ground that he was starting to catch up to Kevin Dillon. Now his night, and I'm looking at that right front tire. There's a lot of camber built up in the Napa number 33.
Yeah, his car cannot be handling that well. You see a little wishy-washy down here in the turn numbers 3. Maybe did a little bit of a turkey walk there. Is that what DW used to say? Turkey walked, and then it did a little jiving as he works up through the S's here. So those tires might be burnt off the Napa Shocks number 33 as he gave it everything he could as he dances up through the S's.
A couple of the other drivers that are still out there on track, a couple of laps down. You see running in the 4th position right now, Jackie Palmer. He's going to have himself a solid top 5, I believe, here tonight because Mark Favret, who is the other driver out there onto the speedway, he is looks like 4 laps down. So as long as Jackie Palmer can get back around here just a couple more times, 2 more times to be exact, as Jeff Dillon already got those old rabbit ears, we will be able to score him into that 5th or 4th position as Mark Favret is sitting here in 5th. James Somke actually just came down pit road in that number 1 machine. But Al, it's going to be, well, just 2 more laps around here, 2 more times through these S's for Jeff Dillon.
Yeah, Jeff Dillon trying to put on the championship season here into the record books. He works down the back stretch as they get here almost 140 miles an hour before they got on the brakes. It looks like the 82. That is Palmer just up out of the carousel. So he'll come on to the back chute into turn number 7. Getting set up for there. He'll get the white silk is the final trip. Well, about ready to set sail here at the Watkins Glen International.
So the white flag about to fly here tonight as Dillon will come off a turn number whatever that is at this point. I've already lost track of this way, that way. But it'll be the white flag here tonight. 1 more lap to go. If Jeff Dillon can just come back around here 1 more time, he will be the champion here for the 87 Shootout Series, presented by Decals by Dillon. Just 1 more time around this. Al, how hard is it to do just 1 more lap when you have a big lead like this?
Yeah, he kind of shut it down early getting down to the turn number 1. He doesn't really need to push it hard. So right now it's just a matter of keeping it on the pavement right now so that way you don't spin out, get loose, do anything like that. You don't have to really push it that hard as he works down the back stretch now. 160 plus miles an hour before getting on the brakes to get into the carousel. So, and a lot of emotion going on right now. You know you're going to be crowned a champion in the All-Pro Sim Series. And then you also know that you're going to be the inaugural champion. That's going to go into the history books forever as Jeff Dillon works down the backstretch in the turn number 7. For the final time, he looks for that checkered flag that'll secure his championship here in the All-Pro Sim Series.
Just 1 more right-hander, and he will see that ever-elusive checkered flag. He will go to victory lane now for officially his 3rd time this season. Down close to the inside, he is telling his crew that he really appreciates it here tonight at Watkins Glen. Jeff Dillon is our winner. Where is our 2nd place machine? There is the Decals by Dillon Ford Thunderbird. He will come out of the final corner. He will be our 2nd place driver home across the line here tonight. So it'll be Jeff Dillon, Kevin Dillon, and where is the other man that was in the championship hunt, as he will come through the final corners now. Here comes David Poland's in the number 33. He will finish in the 3rd spot. Jackie Palmer will finish in 4th. Mark Favret will be 5th. James Somke will be shown into the 6th position. Matt Vade will be 7th. Zach Coyer will be 8th. And Michael Favret will round out your 9-car field here. A couple drivers that did not take to the green flag. I believe it was the 22 of Shrewsbury, as you see your race winner. Burning them down here at the end of the front straightaway. Lots of room down there to just go ahead and let it rip.
Yeah, burn it down. You don't need to save anything anymore. The season is done. These cars will go back to the shop, put on the jack stands, and get ready for the next season here on the All Pro Sim Series.
So the racing is over. That means there's one more thing to do here, race fans. Post-race show coming at you here in just a couple of moments with Jeff Dillon. You're going to hear from the championship winner. You're going to hear from the second place man. I don't see David Polans in the area right now, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here with your post-race show, brought to us by Decals by Dillon. Welcome back here, race fans, to the Watkins Glen International Raceway. 35 laps officially in the books here for the All-Pro Sim Racing League. It's the 87 Shootout Series that was presented by Decals by Dillon. Al, we have already crowned a champion here, and I'm actually standing alongside him. It's the driver of the 52. It is your race winner and your champion all in one, Jeff Dillon. Jeff, it's got to feel pretty good knowing that you not only won the race, but you were able to go ahead and capture the championship along with it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the win. I'm not the biggest road course racer, so to get out here and actually be competitive with David and Kevin and Matt and Speed, that meant a lot to me. So yeah, there's a lot of different strategies going on during the race, but played out on my way there.
Now, it was a great season all in all for your whole crew. We talked about it and how you were able to really hang on to having yourself a pretty good season after you got away from that Daytona International Speedway down there at the Big Super Speedway. You know, a second at Rockingham, a first at Richmond, Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, Bristol. I mean, all top fives except for that first race of the season and another top five here. I mean, do you wish you could go back and redo Daytona?
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have pinched Tyler there and then let this all out. He's worst case, I probably finished third. I can't remember who was running with us. And I know last week was absolutely terrible to send myself out on the last lap when I could have just came home third. So yeah, I wish I was a little more consistent, but it worked out. I knew these cars would be a handful and it was a learning curve for all of us, but I think pretty much the year went pretty good for all of us.
When you talk about the learning curve, the 87 cars, brand new to the iRacing.com platform here, how did they handle all season? You were at the Big Super Speedway, you were at the mile and a half, you were at the short tracks, the half miles, and then the road courses. All in all, what were the takeaway here with this 87 car?
I think the biggest thing for me, it reminds me of NASCAR 2003 days on the old Winston Cup cars where you get the long run and it gets tight, you just gotta go slower and slower and slower. And if not, you just burn yourself up. And even downshift is coming into play again if you leave the stock set up in here. So it felt like that sim back then where you just gotta take it easy. And first things drove like boats until I got my steering settings right. But yeah, they're fun. I'm still not there yet. I'm still learning every week. But yeah, these cars are definitely a lot different than the Super Late models that most of us are typically used to.
Yeah, there is a huge difference as the super late models, mainly running on those mile and under speedways here. But Jeff, it was a great season. We already talked about that. I mean, who really makes this all possible? Who helped you all season to wheel and deal this 52 machine into the positions that you were in to capture a championship this season?
Well, I first blame it on Kevin since he's the one that wanted to start this series. I could thank Matt and Justin and all the other admins at All Pro to give us the permission. to run a second night, and then you guys for putting on the show. We really appreciate having the live broadcasts, and I know we had a few hiccups, but for the most part, it went good, and all the other drivers that showed up. Sunday nights is always hard. Our main night's Monday, so it's hard to get guys to race back to back, and for the most part, we had 12 to 15 cars, so I think we were a good car count, so thank you to all the drivers for coming out, and I think hopefully next few months we'll go back on again and have some more fun.
Well, Jeff, congratulations not only on your win here tonight, but being the champion. Congratulations to that whole Dillon Motorsports crew. They were able to outlast everybody, not just here at Watkins Glen, but, think about Bristol. Was able to lead just 3 laps and squeak that one out right there at the end of that one, coming out of turn number 4. What a great race Bristol was, and he won back at Richmond, only having to lead 17 laps. When you look back at all the stats that Jeff Dillon had this year, race fans, he did not lead the most laps out of any driver at all. It wasn't even actually close. Remember, we talked about David Pollins, his competition coming into the night. He actually led 111 laps coming in. So there's a big difference, about 50 laps difference in leading. But it doesn't really matter if you lead the most or if you lead one. That's pretty much what we saw right there with that comparison. So Jeff Dillon wins the championship here tonight at Watkins Glen. Congratulations once again. But I believe the post-race show will go on. And Al, I believe you're standing by with the man who comes home, P number 2 tonight.
Yeah, P number 2 is a Ford, and I'm a Ford man myself. So, Kevin, good run out there tonight. How difficult was it to get around this Watkins Glen Speedway?
Well, I can tell you this. After that race, I need to go get in the shower. I am completely drenched with sweat, white knuckle the whole time. I don't run these road courses. I never have. I don't run them in iRacing. I knew it was going to be a challenge when I set the schedule up, and it was a lot of fun, but so technical, and gosh, one little mistake and one mental fart and you're off the track, and it was just it was fun. I won't take that away. I probably will run another road course when we do it in the winter time, but man, it was tough, and I watched Jeff get smaller and smaller in my front windshield until I couldn't see him anymore. And then after that, I just tried to settle in and just try to run my own race and not worry about the cars around me and just try to bring it home in one piece.
Well, talk about coming home in one piece. You were able to do that over your competition in the points. You came into tonight's action in 5th, and just by my math in my head, it looks like you might come out of here with a top 3 finish overall in the inaugural season for the 87 Sportsman Series. So what's that mean to you to come out here and put it in the podium in the points?
Well, my whole thought process when we put this particular 87 league together was I wasn't going to really concentrate on a championship, really wasn't even going to make a run at it. Just come out and ultimately to try to win races was really my goal. And if you win races and you're consistent, then your points will kind of take care of themselves. Unfortunately, I got myself in a rhythm where I was either winning or crashing out. So I've never had so many DNFs in iRacing as I've had in this league, but I tell you, I still had a blast. All the guys that ran this league did a great job this year. It was a new car. We were still trying to learn it. And I think that each race, the racing got better. The guys' comfort level got better. And I think that when we come back to this deal in January, I think that's going to be even a better league than this one was.
If people out there are watching and they want to get involved with this league, how about would they go about doing so? You're talking about coming back in January, a few months off to get some planning and some stuff out there. Do they follow the Facebook page or get in touch with you guys via iRacing? How does someone get involved here with the 87 Sportsman Series?
They can go to the All Pro Sim Racing Facebook page and become a member of that, and then essentially put in a request to run either the 87 League or our Monday Night Super Late League, or both. We've got an awesome Monday Night Super Late League as well, and the competition is insane in that league, probably the most competitive Super Late Model League there is. So it's a lot of really good big name guys that run here every week, and we race hard. So it's everyone's welcome to join us next year.
Well, there you have it. The last time we'll get to ask you before the lights go out here tonight, and before they come back on in January, who makes it possible for you and your race team week in and week out?
I'd definitely like to thank my sponsor, Decals by Dylan, Vinyl Graphic Company in Pasadena, Maryland, for the sponsorship. And I'll thank Jeff for helping me out when we don't get a chance to practice much anymore like we used to, but we used to lean on each other pretty hard in practice, and he's a little more experienced, so I tend to lean on him even more than he leans on me. I got to thank Matt and Justin Blackdeer for essentially letting us host this league for the All-Pro. Those two guys do a phenomenal job with the league and with the Super Late Model Series. So without them, this wouldn't have been possible. So definitely want to thank them. And I also want to thank my brain for not veering too far off of what I was trying to do here, because sometimes my ADD kicks in and I'll end up in a wall or something. So I made it all 35 laps, so I'm happy with that.
You come home in the second position, and you're going to come home third in the championship standings, I believe. So congratulations there, Kevin. We'll see you down the road here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Roger, back to you.
Yeah, I'm standing next to a very disappointed driver. He drives the number 33 Napa Shocks machine. And Dave, it's just not going to be the night for this crew that you really wanted to or were looking forward to here when you saw Watkins Glen as the final race of the season. You're very disappointed. What more could you have done here tonight?
Oh, man. Well, first off, congrats to Jeff Dillon for winning the title. He definitely deserved it. He had a perfect season, really just didn't make any mistakes. So put the pressure on me every week, really, to be up there. And my goal was to be the fastest coming in every week, and I could do that. I've got a lot of poles, but just never could close out the win. And, going back to Bristol and Martinsville, I had a flat tire with like 30 to go at Martinsville, and then at Bristol, wrecking there at the end. Just between those two kind of put me in a bind where I had the pressure to chase Jeff, and starting out today is really that's what cost me. Looking back at it is just my own mistakes, but I'm looking forward to getting back with their series again, especially in a winter one. I'm known for being runner-up finisher. I did it in all my rookie seasons throughout my entire career, so I guess it was time for another one.
So what you're saying is you are always a bridesmaid and not a bride. You've just come to those terms.
Well, I've won championships, but never in my first year. I've always been close. So, but I always lose it by a little bit in my first season of rookie seasons, whether it was late models or legends, which were impressive years. I was very happy with that. But it always came down to one of those two races you make a mistake in, and Jeff just never did, and he especially showed it on the road course today. What he's made of on the long run. I still had a shot at him. I was 6 or 7 seconds back. And coming out of one, where I struggled was one in the carousel. Coming out of one, I just lost it, and I said, well, now the strategy's got to be beat them on the road. I did the first run, but then the second time, I had to pit. There was no other option. It was either ride 8 seconds back or pit and hope he makes a mistake or has a flat. That was really it.
Yeah, I believe one of those NASCAR Cup drivers of Kyle Busch, I believe it was, actually said, you can sit out there and you can run third all night long, and you can run in their tracks, and when they pit, you pit, and at the end of the day, you're still running third. So if you don't try and, deviate from the plan and go down and maybe put tires on when they're not looking, you're not going to change anything. And you definitely tried that here tonight. We've seen that all season with a lot of these drivers kind of going out of their realm and pitting off sequence a lot. And did you learn anything that you're going to be able to apply to the next season to possibly even the playing field with Jeff Dillon, and then maybe overtake him and win the Season 2 championship?
Yeah, definitely. Reeling in myself, just getting up, overdriving it a little bit. I started learning the long run was more what to do, which Jeff showed that all season. He'd ride back there in 5th to 10th, and the next thing you know, there he is up front again. And I'm like, all right, so I started working on saving my stuff a little bit more. And saving stuff on iRacing for me is a lot different than real life. I don't know what it is, but in real life, I've never really saved my stuff ever. And I always seem to be there at the end and have the tires under me. So that's what I'm learning on iRacing, is that I'm overdriving it somewhere because you don't have that little bit of feel that you get when you're overdriving it in real life on the entry. So like this race, I've learned I got to back up the corners a lot more than I've been doing, because I started the last 2 laps were embarrassing. I was just driving through the front tires and driving off the track. It reminded me of when I first ran road racing in real life, doing donuts in the sand all day.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing donuts, but usually you try to do them after the race. I mean, it's just what I come to learn and know, and you can ask my co-host here. I'm not a driver. It's just I get to watch a lot of this racing, and I tend to see drivers at the end of the race do the donuts. I mean, next year I'm sure you're going to put that into your repertoire and try that out. But, Dave, who really helps out this 33 car to compete week in and week out here with the boys?
So my friends up in Virginia, Richard with DPF Services, they do diesel particulate filters. They clean them out. It's one of the only machines in Virginia, and they do a really good job with it. And they're helping me out for the season on they haven't helped me on iRacing because it doesn't really cost me much to do, but they've helped me a ton with real life racing. It's the only reason I can get to go to the track with the Legends car. And then of course the design of the car was actually my dad 10 years ago, or a little bit more than that. The one that in real life, and I race online too, but Roger Austin with Sign Design Co. is the one that got to replicate it and really did a good job. So I got to thank them too, and all my friends and people watching tonight. They're actually on the stream live right now too. So we got you guys on TV and us on my Facebook. And thanks for joining in. I appreciate it again, guys, and thanks for doing this. I look forward to having you to being part of it in the winter.
Well, there you heard it from the man who's going to finish third here tonight at Watkins Glen. He will finish second in the championship hunt. It's the driver, the number 33. That is David Polans. Al, the checkered flag has flown for the final time here this season at the Watkins Glen International Raceway Speedway here with the All-Pro guys. We've seen racing all the way from the high banks at the Daytona International Speedway all the way to the tiny tracks like Martinsville and Bristol. We even saw a brand new track to the iRacing service at North Wilkesboro. But at the end of all these races, it all came down to two drivers, and Jeff Dillon was able to outlast David Polans for a championship.
He was, and it was just a consistency factor, and Polans definitely did not go down without a fight, and that's all you can ask for here on any given race night here on the Country Racing Network. It was a very entertaining season, and it's hard to believe that it's come and gone so fast. It feels like just yesterday we were just starting.
Yeah, 9 weeks of racing, 8 weeks of points-paying racing, all coming down to here in the hills of wine country in New York. We got to thank not only all the drivers that competed this season here with the All-Pro Sim 87 Shootout Series, we also got to thank all you race fans that have tuned in all throughout the season, whether it was race number 1 or race number 9. If it wasn't for all you race fans tuning in to watch all the great action provided here by these race drivers, we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have anything to talk about, and nobody to listen to Al go eat more hot dogs than anything all season long and not even give any of us those. So, I mean, we got to thank Al also for jumping up here in the booth. Al, a big part of the production crew here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, and a big shout out really goes out to the guys over at Decals by Dylan, because if it wasn't them backing the 87 Shootout Series here, we really wouldn't be here at all. So we've really got to thank them. We got to thank Jeff Dillon and Kevin Dillon for all the work that they also did, and I believe just anybody else that had a partake in this all season. It's been a great showing, not only for these guys, but for us too. We enjoyed every moment of it. But race fans, that's going to pretty much wrap things up here for us tonight for the All-Pro Sim 87 Shootout Series presented by Decals by Dylan. Jeff Dillon is your championship winner here in the season, and he's also the winner for the final race of the season. So race fans, until we catch you next time on the Turn 3 Racing Network, that's Al Smith, I'm Roger Muth, and this is the All-Pro 87 Shootout Series.